All right, Coach, a very successful season in your first Division I campaign. You brought in a lot of new guys, a lot of freshmen, a couple of transfers. What was it like for you having to get those guys up to speed with the few guys that were here that returned?
It was a crazy transition because of all those new kids, obviously, and it was kind of interesting, the dynamics of what we did in preseason to get them acclimated to each other. And we think some of the things that we did in preseason and on the road really helped us advance as a unit.
Looking back, you guys were actually the lid lifter for terms of Division I competition here on campus. It was an exhibition game against Kentucky, but I think everybody could see the excitement of Division I around NKU when over 1,200 people came out to a 1,000-seat soccer stadium, and that was a pretty electric atmosphere.
It was pretty neat for the kids, and obviously Kentucky really enjoyed that evening. It was a good time for everybody, and it was a good game for us to see where we were at. And Kentucky made the NCAA tournament this year, and so it was a good night for all. Now,
Kentucky obviously not part of the regular season schedule, but you guys played a heck of a schedule in the early going before you guys got to conference play, and you guys really learned a lot from that. Took your lumps, but really learned a lot from that as well.
Well, I think with new kids and the fact that we spent so much time together, we practiced 3 times a day during the preseason, and then going on the road for the first 4 weeks of the season really bonded our kids. I think that was a big influence on how we developed as a team, being around each other all the time and then taking our lumps early. And I think the changing weekend was the weekend when we played Butler and IUPUI. We had gotten thumped the week before, and I think then things started to change.
You mentioned the High Point tournament when you guys went down. It was a 6-0 loss, but a red card early on, so 4 of those goals came against 10 men, so it was a little bit skewed, but probably the best team that you guys played all season.
It was one of the best teams. I mean, obviously Gulf Coast and the 3 top teams in our conference were very good. Gulf Coast, Mercer, and East Tennessee State. But both Radford and High Point that weekend were the toughest teams we faced all year.
Now, you guys got your first Division I win at Belmont on a game-winning goal from a freshman, Kevin Walker. What was that experience like for you guys?
It was neat. I mean, we've been coming close earlier to that. Prior to that game, we'd been in a few games and lost by a goal or lost, it was kind of when was it going to happen, if it was going to happen. It's like having that big gorilla on your back. Is it going to, you're finally going to break. And the thing is, we hung in there in that second half, and Kevin got loose and put one away late in the game.
You had a late winner against Western Illinois as well. It was kind of a theme, not to get too far ahead of ourselves in this season recap, but it was kind of a theme of your team that they would play a full 90 minutes, and if it required more than 90 minutes, they'd play that too, a team that wouldn't quit.
Well, that's the thing we tried to get to them all season long. And the first thing we said to them, we don't care if you lose. At least compete for 90 minutes and make the other team compete for 90 minutes. And if we get close enough to the end of the game, anything can happen. I think that was the thing that we worked on all season long in our training, is just compete for 90 minutes. Don't worry about the result, just compete. And I think the weekend when we played IUPUI and played very well that weekend, really started to change their ideas that we can win some games. And we changed even as a staff. We says, now we've taken our lumps, now let's go take what we've learned and try to apply it and finish people off.
Now, A.J. Fleek, your starting goalkeeper, got injured pretty early in the season, missed a couple of weeks. Took him a little while to get to 100%, but was it a coincidence that once he got to 100%, it seemed like this team really took off?
Well, it was kind of a coincidence because at the time we were really, who was the #1 goalkeeper, whether it was going to be Toby Froelich or was it going to be A.J. And both of them were very good players. Unfortunately for Toby in the pit game, 35 seconds into the game, he got a concussion and he was out. So he wound up really behind the 8 ball because A.J. stepped in and we started winning. And A.J. started playing better. And unfortunately for Toby, he couldn't get back into the lineup because how do you change a goalkeeper when you start winning? You don't do that. It's just an unwritten rule. You go with the flow until something happens.
Now, even with the wins, I don't know how many people were really paying attention to NKU, at least on the men's soccer side. Obviously, volleyball was doing very well at the time as well. But back in October, Florida Gulf Coast came to the NKU Soccer Stadium for a regular season matchup in the Atlantic Sun, and I think you guys really caught the attention, at least of the conference, with a 1-1 tie.
Well, that was our whole goal this year. Our whole goal was to try to be good enough to get into the conference tournament even though we weren't eligible. And open up with those guys. Obviously, they've won it the last 2 years. They made the NCAA tournament again. This year they won the conference tournament. It was a big result for us just to be able to come out and tie. So the kids really battled, but all the pre-games up to that game, they were gaining more and more confidence, and they just took the attitude, if you're going to beat us, we're just going to take you for 90 minutes and hope that we can survive any punches that you throw at us, and that's what they did a lot of times. We survived a lot of punches, and the kids, with their resiliency and their fitness and their attitude, we wound up winning some games that probably shouldn't have.
And going down the stretch, this team has always been, in years past at the Division II level, a team that has been very tough to beat at this facility, obviously one of the world-class soccer facilities in the country.
World-class.
And at least at the Division I level.
It's nice.
And but you guys had tremendous success on the road. A couple of late winners on the road, especially in conference play. Did that early season schedule, which was all on the road, help you prepare you guys for this stretch of games?
The bottom line is that what we did with them in preseason, then going on the road, it could have blew up in our face. And everybody was telling me, you're crazy playing that many away games. Well, we couldn't get any home games, so it really wound up being a real big factor for our success because we had these kids when we went on the road. We had them under our thumb for the 3 days we were on the road. So we got to put in some of the things that we wanted to put in mentally and tactically during the games. But the biggest thing mentally, to convince these kids that you can compete. And physically we weren't as good as some of the teams we played. Tactically we weren't as good as some of the teams we played. But the one thing that we worked on all year long was being mentally and physically tough. And our fitness level is no one's going to run us off the field. So it's just a matter of whether they can finish us off early. And if they do, then we're going to have issues. So that's why we battled as hard as we can. So the biggest accomplishment we had this year was just fighting for 90 minutes. And that's been our trademark since we've been here.
I've known you for 4 years, and you always get very upset at me when I bring up polls, but I'm going to ask you anyway. The preseason poll in the conference picked you guys to finish last, 9th place in the Atlantic Sun men's soccer table. You guys end up finishing 4th, which, as you said, if NKU was eligible for postseason competition in NCAA, would have made the conference tournament and had potential to make some noise. How big of an accomplishment and how satisfying was that for you and your team?
I mean, who would have thought that going into the beginning of the year? And rightfully so. I mean, people making that transition athletically is a big transition for all of us. And the finish 4th in the conference where we were picked last, I guess people didn't know who we were, but they know who we are now. They know that when they play us going forward, that they're going to have to battle for 90 minutes. And if that's all we accomplish over the next 3 years, I'm happy because that's laying the groundwork for when hopefully we do a good job recruiting, that we're ready to go and go after people. And that's pretty much it, go after people.
Obviously, one of the big things, at least in recruiting, is showing kids that you guys can compete in the conference level and compete for a conference championship. Do you think you guys are ahead of schedule? Because as you said, not too many people outside the program thought this team would qualify for the ASUN tournament, and your very first year, you guys would have went had you been eligible.
Well, I think it's just a matter of slowly bringing in the right kids that fit our system. Our system, for me, not everybody can play in the system. The kids who survive this program over a 4-year period are kids who really have to dedicate themselves to hard work every day. Brian Booz does a great job in our weight room with her, and he and Zach Turner, who's coming in new this year, are absolutely killing our kids right now, trying to get them stronger. We're trying to make it the transition from on the field in the weight room to how they conduct themselves off the field. So when we do become eligible, we'll have the groundwork laid.
Now, one of the last questions, Coach, turning your attention to some of the players. Accolades pretty well-rounded for this group. A.J. Fleek was named to the Atlantic Sun All-Freshman team. We thought you guys had a couple of other good candidates for that team as well. The voters did not think so. But Michael Bartlett, academic all-conference. So your very first year, you get a couple of guys on the honor roll. Pretty big deal for a first-year program.
A.J. kept us in a lot of games just because he's a big body and he's a big kid and he's a very good, talented goalkeeper. And to be honest, he kept us in a lot of games. But Mike Bartlett for 4 years. Here's a kid coming out of Alexandria, Kentucky, Rossford High School, not a big soccer school. He comes in here and struggles his first year to get on the field, and then for the next 3 years, we can't get him off the field. That kid trained when his feet were killing him, his leg was killing him. He never missed a training session. And he is the epitome of what we want out of our players. He may not be the most talented soccer player technically and hit that 30-yard bomb or all that stuff, but when we put him on the field, we couldn't get him off the field. And he was a leader in every sense of the word by the way he played. And I enjoyed having him for the 3 years. Luckily for him, he won a national championship on his sophomore year, and he walked away with a pretty nice career over his 4 years. And we're proud of what he's accomplished, and he exemplifies what this program is all about: hard work and determination. If we have more kids like him, we're going to be hard to deal with. We'll get beat, just because we don't have the talent that some of the other teams may have, but we're not going to back down from anybody. Our schedule next year and the year after is going to be playing against the best teams we can, because the only way we're going to get better is by playing those good teams. Yeah, we can't play Maryland and stuff like that. We'll never expect to play those. But everybody in our region we can play with if we can get more competitive. And I think, we're just trying to develop ourselves to the kids can come in here, be a part of what a guy like Mike Bartlett set up for us, and Stephen Beatty and all the guys that have played before here. So we just continue on.
Final question, Coach. You guys started the season 0-6, finished at 7-4-1, finished 4th in the conference, setting a pretty nice table for next season. And I think you got to feel like you're a little bit ahead of schedule in terms of trying to be competitive for that year that you are actually eligible for the ASUN tournament.
It's really, I told the kids this the other day, I says, they've raised the bar. When they lucked out and played well enough to tie Kentucky, I told them, you put a bar pretty high right now. Now they've raised the bar even higher, because we have the biggest goals we have every year. Our first goal is to win one more game than we won the year before. So next year we have to win 8. And we could have won 8, 9 or 10 this year. We also could have lost 9 or 10 more. So it was because of that. So our number one goal is to win one more game and to finish one place higher in the conference than we did this year. Those are the only 2 goals we really go by. So our kids have to work harder and harder every time they do that. It's very satisfying, but now we're working even harder. I mean, when we finished on Saturday against Lipscomb, we were in the weight room on Monday. So we haven't taken any time off, because we know what we have to do in order to compete at this level, and we're going to work these kids until they can get to where we want them to be.
Coach, congrats on your season, and good luck next year.